Ladies and gentlemen, Psalms 27, 10 to 14 says, "When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of my enemies. Deliver me not unto the will of my enemies, for false witnesses rise up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I would have fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord." That doesn't need any explanation. So let's get into the subject today. Canelo said of Golovkin, he may be stronger, but he may not punch harder. Specifically, he said a couple other things about Golovkin here, and I want to draw your attention to a number of them. The first one, he says, speed will be a big factor, an important factor in this fight. He also says that maybe he's stronger than me. Maybe. I think, though that being stronger than me doesn't mean he punches harder than me. I have intelligence, and you have to be precise of when and where to land your punches so that they are the same power-wise like his or stronger. And here he's not speaking about hitting as hard as Golovkin does. He's talking about the timing and the precision. Because, see, in boxing, it's not so much about how hard you punch. It's about hitting your opponent where and when they do not expect you to hit them. Okay? So that's what he's talking about. He also goes on to say, people say the winner of this fight is pound for pound number one. So we are ready for that. And that's interesting. That's interesting because that draws an analogy to something else. And just so you understand, Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward, the first time they met, the whole hype behind it was that whoever wins that fight would be pound for pound number one in the world. Of course, we all know Andre Ward did not get that, even though he won by a unanimous decision by the judges. The consensus was that Kovalev won that fight. We'll get more into that in a minute, but that's just a parallel between Canelo's fight with Golovkin and Andre Ward's fight with Kovalev. Another very interesting parallel I just want to mention here as we move on is that the both fights took place. Canelo's fight took place in the T-Mobile Arena, and Andre Ward's fight also took place in the T-Mobile Arena against Sergey Kovalev. So I thought that was just interesting for you guys to note. A number of other things I wanted to show in terms of parallels between Andre Ward's fight and Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. And one of them is that when you look at the final punch stats for Ward versus Kovalev, there's some very interesting things you see. One, you see that Kovalev, he is more active than Andre Ward. He outthrows Ward 474 punches towards 337. That's the first thing. He outlands Ward 126 punches to 116 by Andre Ward. However, and this is a very important point, Andre Ward's connect percentage was significantly higher than Sergey Kovalev's, 34.4%, whereas Sergey Kovalev's connect percentage was 26.6%. When we look at the history of both fighters in their fights, with Kovalev, his history was that versus Ward, first of all, he threw on average 39.5 punches per round, landed 10.5 punches per round, a connect percentage of 26.6% per round. In his previous 5 fights, he threw 52.1 punches per round, landed 16.4 with a connect percentage of 31.5%. So his connect percentage went down. It went down by roughly 4.9%. Okay? Very interesting. Now when we look at Andre Ward, against Kovalev, he threw 28.1 punches per round and landed 9.7 punches, a connect percentage of 34.5%. In his previous 10 fights, he threw what looks to me like 47.4 punches per round, landed 18 punches per round. That's a connect percentage of 38%. Basically a drop of 3.5%. Okay? So both guys, and when we look at overall punch stats, their connect percentages went down. Sergey Kovalov's connect percentage went down by 4.9% or 5%, and Andre Ward's punches per round, his connect percentage went down by 3.5%. Okay, so that's very interesting to see. So that when we look at both of them actually were influenced by each other defensively speaking, so that they didn't land at the connect percentage they generally did. But Andre Ward still landed at a higher connect percentage than Sergey Kovalev. Now, why am I saying all of this? I am putting this as a pretext for you to look at when Canelo faces Triple G. Let's look at how Canelo performed versus how he usually performed. Now, Andre Ward didn't perform as he usually performed. He was 3.5% less than he usually performed. Sergey Kovalev, he usually performs at 31.5%. He was 4.9% less than he usually performed. Those both percentages are not significant, okay? They're not absolutely significant, but they are changes nonetheless, okay? So that Andre Ward still kind of looked like Andre Ward, 34.4% versus 38%. That's still more or less Andre Ward, and Kovalev's not that far off from 31%, you know. So if you round it off to the nearest 5%, Kovalev and Andre Ward, they are both still within range. Now let's look at Golovkin versus Canelo for a minute. So when we look at Canelo versus Golovkin in terms of CompuBunch punch stats, it's very interesting what we see. Canelo, he has an overall punch stat of 33.5% as his connect percentage. He threw 505 punches. That is roughly 505 divided by 12. That's 42.1 punches per round he threw. He connected on 169 divided by 12. He connected on 14.1 of those punches. So he threw 42.1% or 42.1 punches, and he connected on 14.1 punches. Now, when we look at Canelo, his history, and we can get that with his CompuBox historical review. When we look at his history of his fights and his amount of punches he throws per round, he generally throws 42.2 punches per round. So he's not off. He's off by 0.1. So he's basically throwing the same amount of punches he usually does. On an average, he lands 15 punches per round. In this case, 14.1 punches is about 0.9 of a punch off. Or basically, he's one punch off, okay, from what he usually throws. And therefore, his connect percentage is generally 35.5%. As we see, his connect percentage is a little bit lower than that against Golovkin. It is actually 33.5%, 2% off, which is not significant, okay? Now, let's look at Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin threw 703 punches. So, per round, he basically threw 58.6 punches per round. 58.6 punches per round. Okay? And he landed, according to CompuBox punch stats here, he landed 18.2 punches. So 58.6 punches he threw, and he landed 18.2 punches. Okay? So, what is his general average that he has in his fights? And his general average is 65.4. So 58.6 is significantly less than 65.4. Okay? 58.6 is basically, if I'm not mistaken, 58.6 is 7 point, let's see, that's 7 point what? 7.8. That's 7.8 punches off from 65.4. Almost 8 punches off, okay? And he landed 18.1 punches, right? 18.2, which is 8 punches less than what his average is. Okay? So 7.8 punches less he threw, and 8 punches less he landed. And his connect percentage was significantly less than 40.1%. In fact, when we look at it, it is 31%, which is 9.1% less than his average connect percentage. So he had a significant change, and therefore we can say, unlike Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, and even Canelo Alvarez, who were within the 5% margin, Gennady Golovkin's changes are all above the 5% margin. All right? And what this means is that he significantly had drops in both the punches he threw, the punches he landed, and in his connect percentage. In other words, Gennady Golovkin was not performing like Gennady Golovkin usually does. And just so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, we'll look at Gennady Golovkin versus Daniel Jacobs. And so you can see what's happening here. This is another fight which is kind of up in the air whether Gennady Golovkin won that fight or not. When we look at the total amount of punches he threw 615 punches, which is equal to 51 punches a round, even less than he threw against Canelo. Okay? 51.2, 51.3. Let's round it off to the nearest decimal point. 51.3 punches a round. And his average at the time was 67.9. That's a significant drop in punch output. Okay? He landed, at the time, he had to average 27.5. He landed 231 punches, which is equal to 19.3 punches a round. All right? So 51.3 punches is what he threw, and he landed 19.3 punches a round. And he was averaging 67.9 punches a round and 27.5 punches he would land at a 40.5 connect percentage at the time he faced Jacobs. Okay? So now we're talking about 51.9. 51.9 is 16 punches less than 67.9. He landed, however, at 19.1, I do believe it is. 19.1? 19.3, sorry. 19.3, which is 8 punches, 8.2 punches less than he normally lands in a round. And therefore his connect percentage was 37.6, whereas his connect percentage before was 40.5. Now, the thing about it is, all of the other things I just spoke about, in terms of punches landed and punches thrown, they're significantly less than what he normally averaged before he faced the Daniel Jacobs. But, however, when it comes to his connect percentage, that actually was not significantly different. 37.6 is within 5% margin of 40. And so it's not a significant difference in terms of his connect percentage. And really, connect percentage is the most important thing. Now, when we look at Daniel Jacobs, very interesting what happens here. So you can see that Daniel Jacobs, he averages 47.5 punches before he faced Gennady Golovkin. And Daniel Jacobs, he averaged 541 punches in the entire fight, which would be round about the amount that he actually throws, which was 45.1 punches. And if you look here, he was 47.5. Again, not significant. It's about 2% less. That's not significant. Okay? 5% plus or minus 5% beyond that is significant. So you can see that, again, not that significant a change. When you look at Daniel Jacobs' punches landed, he landed 175 punches, which would have been 14.6 punches a round. And that's a little less than 15.9 punches, but again, not that significant. It's actually about, what, 1.3? So that's not significant either, okay? So Jacobs is basically being Jacobs in this fight. And therefore his connect percentage, which is 33.5% here, he's a little bit lower than that. I think he's, what, 32.3%, which is like 1.2% less than 33.5%. So Jacobs is actually Jacobs at the end of the day. So we had Jacobs, who was performing as Jacobs normally does, but again, Gennady Golovkin significantly was not performing as Gennady Golovkin was. Now, what that means is that Gennady Golovkin wasn't in control of the fight. This was more Jacobs' fight, that Jacobs was actually controlling the bulk of the fight. That's what it tells you. It also tells you here one more important thing, though, that while Jacobs was in control of the fight, in that he made Gennady Golovkin, well, actually he wasn't in control of the fight. Let me tell you why. Because you have to look at the connect percentage. So Gennady Golovkin seemed to have been landing more or less around his connect percentage that he usually did. So Gennady Golovkin was still Gennady Golovkin. However, Daniel Jacobs made Gennady Golovkin actually miss more of his punches than he usually did, and also showing the caliber of opposition, and also showed you that Daniel Jacobs was able to prevent Golovkin from throwing as many punches as he normally would. Okay, he was thinking more. He had to guess before he threw. All right, but Gennady Golovkin, more or less, his accuracy stayed more or less on point, which means he was the more effective puncher at the end of the day, or boxer, because his connect percentage was higher than Daniel Jacobs. Okay? So, why am I saying all of this? Because when you look at Canelo versus Golovkin here, not only does Canelo significantly change Golovkin's connect percentage, but Canelo is the one with the higher connect percentage than Golovkin. Which shows that Canelo was in control of this fight, in that just like how Danny Jacobs made Golovkin not look like Golovkin, Alvarez did not make Golovkin look like Golovkin. Neither in terms of everything went down and significantly, but also Alvarez was able to take away the effectiveness of Golovkin, and he was the more effective puncher in the fight. Now, this is for Lee Wiley and this is for Beeb. They said that Gennady Golovkin was the ring general in his fight against Canelo Alvarez. Both in terms of Daniel Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez, we see no change in terms of no significant change, even more so for Canelo Alvarez than Danny Jacobs. There is no significant change in the performance of these two fighters in both their fights against Golovkin. All right? Whereas with Andre Ward, there were significant changes in terms of, well, there wasn't significant changes in terms of his connect percentages, okay, or Kovalev. There weren't significant changes, but there was significant changes in terms of punch output, right? But whereas there were significant changes in punch output with Ward and Kovalev, there were no significant changes in punch output with Danny Jacobs and with Canelo Alvarez. Not only that, but there was also no significant changes in terms of their connect percentages for Jacobs or Canelo. Okay, so this was Jacobs' average connect percentage here. Okay, and here's Canelo's average connect percentage here, and you can see there was no significant difference in Canelo's connect percentage to his average, or Jacobs' connect percentage to his average. Okay, no significant difference. And in both cases, Gennady Golovkin had a significant change in his connect. Well, no, only in one case. Sorry, not with Jacobs, but with Canelo, there was a significant connect percentage change for Gennady Golovkin in terms of his connect percentage. All right. Now, why that's important is because when you're looking at the ring general, ring generalship, the key word here is effectiveness. The ring general is always going to be effective. He's going to get in the effective punches. Effective. And you cannot tell me that Gennady Golovkin was the effective aggressor in this fight, because clearly from the punch stats that we have here, he wasn't behaving like Gennady Golovkin at all against Canelo Alvarez. Whereas with Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, they kind of more or less behave like themselves, because the connect percentage tells you that. You know, even if you don't punch as much, you don't throw as many punches, at least you continue to have your accuracy. In this case, Golovkin had less accuracy, he's less effective, he's throwing more punches, he's landing less, and Alvarez is the one who is landing more with his punches. Not only is he more effective than Golovkin was in this fight, but also, most importantly, he's the one ensuring that the conditions are such that he would be more effective. And that's all critical. I want to show you one more thing with Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, and Gennady Golovkin, Daniel Jacobs, and Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. Alright? So here we go. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. In this entire fight, because people are talking about how, you know, Gennady Golovkin was the more active fighter and Canelo was in spurts. Well, let me show you something. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. I want to show you that Kovalev was the more active fighter. So he threw 34 punches in round 1, which is more than Andre Ward. 49 to 16, 27 to 22, 37 to 25, 33 to 24, 36 to 25. It's only in round 7 that Andre Ward actually threw more punches than Sergey Kovalev. Alright, Kovalev threw 29, Ward threw 32. And after that, 8th round, 38 to 32, 46 to 38, 58 to 35, big gap here. 40 to 26, big gap here. And 47 to 42. We could easily say, well, Sergey Kovalev outworked Andre Ward in that fight, and that's why he should have won. The rematch showed us clearly, though Andre Ward was knocked down in round 2, and so he had to pick it back up, it clearly showed you that Andre Ward was the guy that deserved the win in that fight by unanimous decision, like was said, because he picked it back up and he was the more effective puncher. Because you can't just look at activity, you have to look at effectiveness. And in round 5, Andre Ward, actually in round 4, actually in round 3, my bad, actually in round 3, Andre Ward became the more effective puncher. 22.7 to 14.8, 28 to 24. See, it's not about volume if one guy is being more effective than the other guy. 33.3%, 32%. All of these are higher. 34%, 34%, 44%. He's already almost half his punches he's landing. Okay? And he's outlanding Kovalev now. 45%. He's really turning it on. Kovalev landed more, but he's landing at a higher accuracy. 50% of his punches he landed here. And then 28.6% in the 12th round. Okay? So his connect percentage was much higher than Kovalev. That's why he won this fight. Because it shows how effective he was with the body punching to Sergey Kovalev. And in the rematch, that proved to be true. Andre was not known as a high volume fighter. Right? He throws maybe 40 punches, 45 punches, you know. You saw what happened. Okay, let's go back. Look at Danny Jacobs versus Gennady Golovkin. Now Golovkin, in this case, all right, Golovkin, he outthrows Danny Jacobs 32 to 26. In the second round, Danny Jacobs outthrows him. Believe it or not. The third round, he outthrows him again. The fourth round, Golovkin outthrows Danny Jacobs because that's where he knocked him down. Fifth round, he outthrows Danny Jacobs. Sixth round, they're equal. Seventh round, Danny Jacobs takes it over and he outthrows Golovkin. Eighth round, Golovkin outthrows Danny Jacobs. Ninth round, Golovkin outthrows Danny Jacobs. 10th round, Jacobs outthrows Golovkin. 11th round, Jacobs comes on strong. And then the 12th round, Golovkin outthrows Danny Jacobs. The majority of rounds, Golovkin is outthrowing Danny Jacobs, which is why he has a higher activity rate than Danny Jacobs does. And he's also more accurate. So that is why when the judges gave Golovkin the fight, I'm not mad at them. Because it was a close fight. I thought Danny Jacobs was more effective, but punch stats does not support. Okay? So let's just count up the rounds that Golovkin had over Danny Jacobs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So half of the rounds. It's a really close fight. And then he knocked him down. So that's why he won the fight. Okay? It was a close fight. Alright? Between the two of them. Now let's look at Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez. Alright? Let's do that. When you look at Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez, again, you're looking at connect percentage as well. Oh, by the way, with Danny Jacobs, let's look at connect percentage. Let's see what's happening. So Jacobs actually had the higher connect percentage. Even if Golovkin supposedly outworked Danny Jacobs, let's see what really happened. Danny Jacobs has the higher connect percentage here, and Golovkin has round 2. Golovkin has round 3. Golovkin has round 4, obviously. Then Danny Jacobs takes round 5. They're equal in round 6. Danny Jacobs takes round 7. Golovkin takes round 8. Golovkin takes round 9. Golovkin takes round 10. Golovkin takes round 11. And Golovkin takes round 12. In other words, for the majority of the fight, Golovkin took those rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds. 8 rounds to 4. Golovkin was the more accurate boxer. Okay, and again, it shows up in the CompuBox punch stats. So he's more accurate, and he's got more rounds. He's more accurate, and also he's more active, at least for half of the rounds. All right, so that's why CompuBox gives what it gives. Now let's look at Canelo Alvarez versus Golovkin. All right. Remember, Andre Ward, he only had 1 round where he was more active than Sergey Kovalev. Let's look at Canelo versus Golovkin. So, Golovkin 33 to 23 by Alvarez. Golovkin 38 to 42. So Canelo actually he's more active than Golovkin in round 2. Okay. In round 3, Golovkin's more active. In round 4, Golovkin's more active. In round 5, Golovkin's more active. In round 6, Golovkin's more active. In round 7, Golovkin's more active. 8, 9, 10. Round 11, Golovkin's more active. And round 12, Golovkin's more active. Okay? Only 1 round, just like Andre Ward, only 1 round Canelo's more active than Golovkin. Alright? It's very important to remember. But let's look at connect percentages now. Round 1, Golovkin has the higher connect percentage. Round 2, that's Canelo. Round 3, that's Canelo. Round 4, that's Canelo. Round 5, that's Canelo. Round 6, that's Canelo. Round 7, that's Canelo. Round 8, Golovkin gets it. Round 9, Golovkin gets it. Round 10, Golovkin gets it. Round 11, that's Canelo. And round 12, that's Canelo. See what I'm saying? The more accurate fighter. Just like Andre Ward. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds. 8 rounds to 4. Alright? See, this is the kind of stuff that people don't pay attention to. So, when we're talking about being effective, who's the more effective boxer? Who's the more effective puncher? Alright? That's what you got to ask yourself. Alright? So, it's not only activity, it's effectiveness. And the thing about it is that this is something that applies to Andre Ward. People say, oh, well, Andre Ward did beat Sergey Kovalev. It was controversial to some people. But they say Andre Ward beat Sergey Kovalev. People want to argue that Daniel Jacobs beat Kovalev. And yet the empirical evidence doesn't support that. Right? Close fight, though. And he got dropped. So, Canelo, I'm showing you here, by CompuBox punch stats, this is for Lee Thornton, who probably is Lee Wiley, I guess, and or maybe not, and for Beeb, all you Canelo fans, this is just another factual case, another basis I'm building to show you why Canelo beat Gennady Golovkin. And we're looking at 8 rounds to 4, where Canelo is the more accurate puncher with the higher connect percentage. And we're not talking about close connect percentages. We're talking about some significantly different connect percentages. Okay? You got to look at effective. Then, we haven't even talked about the kind of punches that Canelo was landing on Golovkin. Alright? And I'm saying, you only have a handful of highlight reels for Golovkin. A handful. And they're always one punch selection. They're not combinations. And Canelo been landing on Golovkin all the time. And people are saying, oh, it's having no effect on Golovkin. Just like how they say Andre Ward had no effect on Sergey Kovalev, and he's just wrestling him. And he's struggling to survive. It's the same nonsense. So, do I have a problem in the rematch? What do you think? What is my outcome for the rematch? Canelo by clearer, decisive win. Possibly stoppage. Possibly stoppage. Because he's going to be bigger, stronger, sharper, much better conditioned than he was before. He was the smaller guy going in there. Okay? And he said he knew that Golovkin might be stronger than him. And he boxed smart. And you know what's amazing? I listened to Lee Thornton, Lee Wiley, and all these experts say that Canelo can't move around the ring like Daniel Jacobs. He moved around better in the ring than Daniel Jacobs. Canelo wanted to prove a point that he could move around the ring. So he could move on the ropes. He fought on the ropes. He did whatever the heck he wanted to do. He fought in the center of the ring. Canelo fought in the center of the ring. He fought on the ropes. He moved around the ring. He pushed Gennady Golovkin back when he wanted to. He did whatever he wanted to do in that fight. The only thing Golovkin can do is increase his intensity. Golovkin can bring nothing new to the table that he already brought in the fight. He's going to look for certain areas of success that he had in the fight. And he's going to realize, I really didn't have any conclusive success in this fight. And for all those people who are saying Golovkin needs to go to the body, he better think about that. Because, first of all, Canelo's elusive trying to go to his body. It's very difficult to get to Canelo's body to start with. The second thing about it is, Canelo will be counterpunching Golovkin. He will make him pay even more than he did the first fight. Even more than he did the first fight. And expect Canelo to make a statement on Golovkin, just as how Jermell Charlo made a statement on Erickson Lubin. Canelo, his mindset is, okay, y'all think the judges favor me. Fine. And he gonna look to stop Golovkin in the next fight. And remember, David Benavidez said, and I'm gonna quote him on this. He said, Gennady Golovkin does not look like he's slowing down. He looks like he's fresh. That's what David Benavidez just recently said on BoxingScene.com. And on top of that, I just want to add this point. Tom Loeffler said of Gennady Golovkin, he got a good 5 years left in him. Okay? Because Golovkin hasn't taken no wear and tear, man. He'd been hit the most in his last 3 fights. Most of the fight, he'd been doing the punishing. But in these last 3 fights, the guys who are fighting him back have actually been punishing him. Kell Brook. Danny Jacobs, who deserves a rematch. He deserves it. After Canelo's finished with Golovkin, Danny Jacobs should be allowed to have his fight with Golovkin next. Alright? And as my boy, shout out, by the way, to Jeff Mayweather. Shout out to you, Jeff. As my boy Jeff Mayweather said, Canelo's a much better fighter than Danny Jacobs is. Much better fighter than Danny Jacobs is. And for all those people who are saying Golovkin won this fight, here's evidence. Again, hardcore facts. I only come with facts, folks. I only come with facts. I heard Abib in a debate with him. He's saying I'm misrepresenting the facts and I'm using the facts wrong. No, bro. No, I'm not. And you know this. Because I'm coming to you with facts. If you said that Gennady Golovkin's the ring general, that's what Gennady Golovkin do, right? He chased down fighters, right? Cool. Well, how much success did he have chasing down Canelo? Because Canelo likes people coming to him. Gennady Golovkin likes to go to people. So you can't be saying Gennady Golovkin's fighting his fight and Canelo's not fighting his fight. Now the question is, if both of them are fighting their fights, what they like to do, who's being more successful at what they're doing? And from these punch stats, what these punch stats say is Canelo's more successful at doing what he's doing than Golovkin is. So the ring general is not Golovkin. And y'all will say, oh, he's hustling Canelo and he's making Canelo hustle up so he can't get a breath. That's wrong again. If y'all watch James Curtin James Kirkland versus Canelo. The first 2 rounds when he was rushing at Canelo, he looked like he was doing something. He wasn't doing crap. Canelo's defense is on point. And Canelo paces himself with his defense. Canelo's got a defense that's on point. That's why Gennady Golovkin couldn't do nothing to Canelo through all 12 rounds. The guy who was huffing and puffing at the end of the fight was Gennady Golovkin, breathing through his mouth and all that. I heard one guy, he started making up stuff. Canelo, because he wasn't trying to breathe through his mouth, he was actually wearing himself out more. Dude wasn't even breaking a sweat at the end of the fight. Canelo wasn't puffing at the end of the fight. He wasn't looking like he was in debt, because he kept his composure. So don't come with these stupid airy-fairy stuff that you gonna make up, you gonna construct because you wanted Canelo to lose the fight to Golovkin, or you thought Golovkin was winning the fight somehow, some way, by just imposing himself and just marching down Canelo and taking shots. Come on now. Come on. I'm tired of people who don't have facts. I keep on coming with facts. Every single video I've come with facts. But don't worry, we're gonna have the rematch. And Canelo wants that rematch. And Golovkin is looking for a way out. But guess what, Golovkin? You need to have that rematch. That's the next thing you need to have. Because you ain't got nobody else. Okay? So stop stalling. Y'all stop punking Canelo. You know Canelo wants that rematch and he wants it immediately. Oscar De La Hoya need to shut his damn mouth. Because David Lemieux ain't beating no Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders going to beat David Lemieux. Because David Lemieux don't know how to box. And Billy Joe Saunders knows how to box and he's a counterpuncher. So Billy Joe Saunders gonna make he gonna make Golovkin look stupid. He gonna make what's the guy named David Lemieux? He gonna make David Lemieux look like a fool, like a punk. Okay, he gonna make him look like a punk. All right, y'all forgot what he did to Andy Lee. Y'all forgot. Andy Lee's a damn good boxer, and David Lemieux's no better than Andy Lee. And Andy Lee had power in both hands. And he had a really crazy left hook. David Lemieux ain't doing shit to Billy Joe Saunders. Y'all might like Billy Joe Saunders. Y'all might feel all kinds of things. Skill is skill. And the truth recognize the truth. The real recognize the real. And y'all better know that Billy Joe Saunders got skills. Alright? He didn't put away Willie Monroe. He's not a knockout artist like that. But that boy can box. Okay? And he gonna beat David Lemieux. He's gonna keep his title. Okay? It's just what it is. So forget about it. Alright? David Lemieux ain't knocking out nobody. He ain't knocking out Billy Joe Saunders. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all, this is the thing about boxing I don't understand. You got these people who all up in other boxers' skin. You know, I was wrong about Vladimir Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. You know why? Tyson Fury was juicing. He was using cocaine. That's how he had these unreal reaction times. And yes, the boy can box. Don't get me wrong. Tyson Fury can box. But he cheated to beat Vladimir Klitschko. And he was coming back into England to cheat again to beat Vladimir Klitschko. I had a guy making excuses for him, talking about, oh, he knew he wasn't going to box again, so he was going to use cocaine. Come on, man. Cocaine? Come on, man. Are you serious? So dude's recreation is cocaine to amp him up more? No, man. Come on. You going to smoke weed, maybe. You're going to smoke weed, or you're going to smoke some kind of opiate, maybe, to have a good time, or you may take something, you know, the what do you call that thing, the pill, or whatever they call it, X or whatever, you know, ecstasy. The dude said, he denied, he said, I've never used a drug in my life. That's what the dude said, just very recently, this year. He said, I've never used a drug. He's in denial of that completely. And he'd been detected for VADA. Because VADA wasn't testing them for the other time. The other time, they were going into WADA labs. Yeah, but the presiding body wasn't telling them what to test for. In WADA labs, you have to get, the presiding body got to tell you what you are testing for in the WADA lab. Because the lab has to conduct the experiment, right? They got to conduct the test. The body got to tell them, okay, we're testing for this. They wasn't looking for no cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't understand, man. Y'all don't know nothing, man. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all just come and just yap. Y'all yap. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that annoys me. It annoys me that I can't reason with people about boxing. I can't really talk boxing with people. You know what I'm saying? And I come with facts. I don't come like you guys, you know, full of crap. Y'all just talk Y'all don't really back up nothing. Y'all have nothing to back up. And y'all say, and then y'all come with these ad hominems like, oh man, you're not open to other people's opinions and stuff. Come on, man. Grow up. Grow up. If you come with an argument, I can agree with you if you come with facts or you come with sound reasoning. But mostly sound reasoning comes from being backed up by some kind of fact. And if you know boxing, I remember Beeb telling me, man, when you fighting a southpaw, you know what I'm saying? You got to circle anti-clockwise because you got to circle away from the southpaw's power hand. And I told him that Floyd, he circles into the power hand. I remember this very well. Alright? And I was explaining to him why he could do that. Alright? And dude didn't want to hear it. Dude came back again. And by now he should have seen a number of Floyd's fights. Seen when he's fighting the southpaw, he circles into the power hand. He did it against Conor McGregor. He did it against Manny Pacquiao. He did it against Victor Ortiz. All of them. Alright? And there's a reason why he does it. It's a certain angle. He's baiting the guy to fire his power hand so he can counter him. And he got the reflexes to do it. But I'm saying, even so, Gennady Golovkin, everybody's saying, oh, he need to cut off the ring. Cut off the ring. He need to move to Canelo's right. To Canelo's left, his right, and cut off Canelo. Let me ask you a question, man. If you know that Canelo is known for his left hook, that's his power hand, you gonna move into it? According to Beef said, you move into the power hand of your opponent, right? Somebody send this video to Beef. Get this video to Beef. Get this video to Lee Thornton. Because these two guys, I want them to answer this. How is it you avoid the power hand of a southpaw, but you're going to move into the power hand of a fighter who is known for a left hook? Y'all want to know why Gennady Golovkin wasn't trying to cut off the ring? It's because Canelo would land that left hook to his body. He'll feint him. Sometimes he set it up with a jab. Feint as if he's going to go with his right hand. And he would even step backwards, step a direction to feint him. And then he would come with the left uppercut. You don't want to be eating left uppercuts all night. Do you now? So that's why he gave Canelo the leeway. If Canelo wanted to circle to his right, he would circle to his right. If he wanted to circle to his left, he would circle to his left. And that's the other thing. Canelo can change directions. He can circle whichever way he wants to and then continue circling the ring how he wants to. And Canelo just proved to you guys that he can move around the ring. And better than Danny Jacobs. He disproved to you guys that he was one-dimensional. He had supposedly, according to you guys, he had slow feet. He dispelled the notion that he had to stand in front of Golovkin and trade. He dispelled the notion that he's only a counterpuncher. He dispelled the notion that he was running because he fought Golovkin when he wanted to in the center of the ring. He dispelled the notion that Golovkin could knock him out because Golovkin couldn't touch him because he had good defense. He dispelled the notion that Gennady Golovkin would be able to cut off the ring on him. He proved all you doubters wrong. Not only that, he beat Golovkin in that fight. But you guys never give him the credit. Y'all never give him the credit he deserves. He got to clearly come out and with people crying for blood. I watched it. I watched Obi Clone's video where people were crying for blood. It was like, you know, using expletives and saying Gennady Golovkin knocked that mother so and so out. Real expletives, man. You know. I listen to them and you keep on missing and you hear them. You could hear them wanting to see Golovkin knock out Canelo because they thought Canelo was gassed or whatever. Canelo was never gassed in that fight. His foot condition is not the greatest, so his balance wasn't always 100% on his shots. Alright? Canelo dropped his hands in front of Golovkin for crying out loud and pot shot him. I saw Canelo go southpaw a number of times. Catch Golovkin with a 1-2. He hit him with a jab with his right hand and catch him with the left hand. A 1-2. Touch him with a jab with the right hand. I see Canelo do all kinds of things in that ring. But the next fight, he going to be all business. He ain't going to be playing around. He not going to play around with Golovkin. And for those of you who say, oh, Golovkin, you know, he can't make adjustments and change and do better, I agree with you. The best Golovkin is what you've seen. He can't bring nothing new to the table. Because it takes years of training to bring something new to the table. What you saw was what you saw. Canelo knows this. He just fought the dude in a real match. Not the sparring, real match. 12 rounds. And Eddie Reynoso thought Canelo won the fight. He ran into the ring and lifted up Canelo because he knew he beat him. Canelo knew he beat him. Canelo said he beat Golovkin 8 rounds to 4. And check the punch stats again. 8 rounds to 4. Watch it the connect percentage now. Alright? Round 2. Round 3, that's 2 rounds. Round 4, that's 3 rounds. 5, that's 4 rounds. 6, that's 5 rounds. 7, that's 6 rounds. 8, that's 7 rounds. I'm sorry, 11, that's 7 rounds. And 12, that's 8 rounds. He said he thought he won 8 rounds to 4. The boy knows what he's saying. The boy knows what he's saying. At least 8 rounds to 4. I'll box him. Don't tell me that wasn't enough, because I've seen Mayweather versus Marcus Maidana, the first fight. That's an 8-4, 7-5 fight. One judge scored it a draw. I don't know what that judge was watching. Maidana had a lot of antics. He put Mayweather, he tackled him in the 11th round, but Mayweather was winning that round. But if you really was paying attention with the boxing, Mayweather came on from round 5 onwards. Never gave it up. Oh yeah, Marcus Maidana caught Floyd Mayweather with some really good shots. I'm not going to lie. And he did some pretty good body work. But at the end of the day, he lost. Now, how could Mayweather beat Marcos Maidana, who came with ferocity and everything? Outworked Mayweather. But Canelo loses to Golovkin because he didn't do enough? That's your excuse? Come on, man. Talk to me about boxing. Notice I only talk about boxing. Y'all, I'm out of here. Peace. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm out.